What's up? My name is Bryce Colbell, and I want to talk to you guys today about what type of video gear to get if you want to film dance videos. I'm actually really excited about this one because it's what I do a lot of, and yeah, I'm pumped to talk about it. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea or water. I've actually been involved in the street dance community here in Vancouver, Canada for the past 15 years. I've also had a passion for content creation through videography and photography. That being said, let's talk about what gear you need to get to create the best looking dance videos that you can possibly create. So I'm gonna break this video up into 3 different categories. So if you wanna scrub through this video and just go to like each section, you can do that. I've listed the timestamps down below. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Let's just get into it. I get a lot of people asking me what camera to get if they wanna film themselves or they wanna film a dance video. Sometimes I will recommend a camera, but most of the time in the back of my head, I'm thinking, we all have a camera, our phones. These phones are incredibly powerful with capturing video and photo. And honestly, if you don't want to spend $1,000 on a camera, you already have like $1,000 phone right here. And it's perfectly capable of capturing what you need. People just upgrade their phones just because they want to film better TikTok videos. Plus, the iPhone 13 has the best video capabilities that you can get right now, and it will be more than enough if you're just starting out. I sometimes use my phone to get a second angle just because I only have one camera. So if you're choosing to shoot on your phone, here are some accessories that you can get to help with that, help stabilize, help better light your videos. First of all, I would get a phone gimbal. And what is that? Well, it's basically a little tool that you use to stabilize your footage, to make it look more cinematic, to make it like, it kind of takes out the shaking in your hands. So if you search up phone gimbal on Amazon, you're gonna be met with like a million different things, and it's just really overwhelming to tell what you should actually get. If you wanna get like the best of the best right now, here's a couple of them that I highly recommend. I've seen some great reviews for them. I know some people who have it and they really, really like it. I would recommend the Zhiyun Smooth 5. And this thing's crazy. This thing comes with a little tripod, so you can just set it up just like I said. It'll go from this horizontal mode into a vertical mode, just like that. And it'll just be like little record button right there that you can just press and it already starts recording. All you gotta do is just make sure it's balanced once, turn it on, and you're ready to go. So this is a way more affordable option, but this is the DJI OM4. The OM5 just came out and it's kind of the same thing, and it's around 200 bucks. So this one comes in at around 130 bucks Canadian, and it's literally the same thing. It has a bunch of accessories, and look how small it is. You can just chuck it right in your backpack. Phone gimbal is really nice. If you're a student, you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on buying like a full new camera. It just makes everything so much easier, and there's a lot of different accessories that you can actually get for your phones. Like you can even buy like different lenses and stuff. If you work at a studio or if you own a studio, this is a great tool to have if you just want to pop in, quickly film some students. The nice thing is that if you film on your phone, you can easily just airdrop the footage to your students, or you can even just get a studio phone. Use that phone specifically for studio purposes and filming, and yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's get into some lighting. Do you ever notice why these famous TikToks look so good and it's just so well lit and crispy? It's not always because they have the latest and greatest phone. It's because they have a proper lighting setup. Back in my day, I bought a ring light, and it was just a ring light. It didn't have a phone holder or anything, just a ring light, and it was $150. Look at this thing. This thing's only $56. Okay, like $56, and you already have a better lighting setup. This is the reason why I got a light, because if I was filming in here and I turned my light off, this would be the lighting. You get a light, you can film anywhere. Plus, these lights come with a phone holder, so you can just literally put your phone in there and start recording, and you're good to go. You can also invest in some LED lighting kits, which range from 200 bucks to 400 bucks. This thing is actually so affordable for what it is. You get 2 lights, and they can go really high, like higher than 6 feet tall. and they come with little soft boxes. So many different studios that I've seen, they have these lighting kits just to kind of give an extra depth and extra like character, especially if you're filming in a dark studio. So those are my budget choices. Now we're getting into the more not so budget category, and these cameras are budget friendly, but they definitely pack a punch. You know, I used one of these cameras for many years for client work, for dance. It did amazing work. So the first camera that I would recommend is the Sony ZV-1. This is probably my first recommendation because it's like an all-in-one camera. So there's a lot of cameras out there that you have to buy lenses, you have to buy extra accessories to really make it work to its full potential. This camera doesn't require buying any of that stuff. You basically turn it on and you're ready to go. It's under $1,000, but it shoots really, really nice 4K. It has a flip out screen so you can like turn it around and view yourself. And it also comes with this really fancy handle so that you can use it as a tripod, but also use it to vlog. The next camera that I would recommend is anything from the Sony a6000 series. Right now, the latest ones are the Sony a6400. There's also the Sony a6600, which is like such a good camera. It does come with a lens that you can actually take off if you want to invest in a good camera for your studio or yourself, because it also takes really good photos. So you can change lenses, you can add different accessories if you want. If you wanted to get a good lens for this camera, I would highly recommend the Sigma 16mm f1.4. I use this lens and camera combo for all my dance videos for so long because the focal length is so wide. Because it's f1.4, that means you can film in really low light and still be able to see what you're capturing. If you want to stabilize your footage, you may have to pay a little bit more if you want to get a gimbal, but before you do that, I would recommend getting a cage. At one of my studios, we actually use this camera cage, and it's honestly amazing. Like it's so approachable for anybody. It has a dual grip so that you can easily just hold on. So this thing's awesome, and it has been a staple at my studio for a couple years now just because it's so easy to use. You can attach a ton of accessories like a monitor, a microphone, and more. Plus it allows you to have that added bit of stabilization to your footage. So this thing's sweet because it has both the dual handle and it also has that top handle. So if you want to like get really low, you want to film very close to the ground without like just breaking your back, I would recommend that. If you're gonna get a gimbal, here are some gimbals that I would recommend. So I would start off with the Crane M3. This thing's actually really cool. It even has a light on the front. This thing's super small. You can literally use it with one hand. And this would be a really good pairing with the Sony a6000 series because these are the types of cameras that it's made for. So if you're working at a studio and you just have it sitting there on the table, you can easily just teach the manager or teach the teachers how to use it so that if they want to film their classes, they just come up, grab the gimbal, quickly set it up, and then they can film it themselves. And that makes life a lot easier. I would recommend this lighting kit because it's actually like quite affordable for what you're getting. These lights are GVM and they're like a step above the newer lights. So they're a lot higher quality, better material, they're a lot brighter. They're RGB, which means like you can change the color to whatever color you want. Okay, so this is when things are starting to get a little bit more expensive. Here's some gear that I would highly recommend. This is all stuff that I've used. I would recommend getting the Sony a7 III, or if you have the extra budget for it, the Sony a7 IV that just came out. So I've been using this camera for the past 4 years and it has been amazing. This is actually the camera that I'm filming on right now. I still love the image coming out of it, and it's a workhorse with a great battery life. The a7 III just makes sense for me because it's small and compact, and it also has great photography capabilities. So I know there are different cameras out there, like there's the Blackmagic cameras that you can get. They do have an amazing image. The only reason why I wouldn't recommend those for dance videos is because autofocus. When you're filming dance videos, there's a lot of back and forth and there's a lot of side to side. Having to worry about making sure everything is in focus is honestly kind of a pain when you don't have autofocus, and those cameras don't. I don't have a lot of experience with Canon, but I can just tell you that the autofocus and the low light capabilities on Sony cameras are just unmatchable. So again, having great autofocus is really helpful. You don't want to be worrying about whether or not the shot is in focus because sometimes you only get a few chances to get the shot. The worst feeling is when the dancers nailed their choreography, but you messed up the shot or didn't focus properly. You can find a used Sony a7 III for around $2,000 or lower. For lenses, I have a couple options. I would recommend the Tamron 28-75 or 17-28. They're both f2.8 lenses. They're both very sharp, very good autofocus. The 17-28 is nice because it's very wide, so you can easily get all the dancers in the shot. But the 28-75 is really nice if you're making promotional videos, if you want to do some photography with it. So that would be like a really good combo of lenses. If you just want one lens that is like wide, really good in low light, has great autofocus, and is just honestly amazing for filming dance, I would recommend the Sony 20mm f1.8. This is a great lens that would be your go-to gimbal lens. It's small, light, and has a very wide focal length. Having a wide lens is extremely useful when trying to capture large groups of dancers as well. If you want to get a really, really good gimbal, something that is more professional grade, something that you can just 100% rely on, and it's gonna make all your footage look great, I would recommend the Ronin S2 or the Ronin SC2, which is like significantly cheaper. It's like probably half the price. I actually have a talking video about the Ronin S2 with the dual grip, which I think is amazing for dance, and I love it. I'll link that video up in the corner. Or another gimbal that I would recommend that's actually really cheap is the Weebill S by Zhiyun. And it's $370. It comes with a handle so that you can get really, really low angles. It's incredibly light. This is a good gimbal if you want to save some money and maybe buy a more expensive lens or a more expensive camera, or just save money in general. I would also highly recommend getting a monitor for your cage or your gimbal. These cameras don't have great screens. It's really hard to see anything. They're very small, and honestly, they're very inaccurate to what you're actually capturing. I actually recently picked up this Feel World 7-inch monitor, and while it is a bit overkill in size, I love being super confident in the composition that I'm capturing. There's a few moments when you're filming dancers where you want to show them what you filmed. When they're like over top of your shoulder, looking at what you're filming, all you have to do is just like show them this big 7-inch monitor, and everybody can kind of see what you're capturing. It gives them confidence, and it gives you confidence just knowing that they like what I shot. Plus, if you're getting to low angles, having a monitor will really help you keep the dancers in the shot and just like overall allowing you to focus on how the video is gonna look. If you want to spend a good amount of money on a light, so I would recommend getting the Godox VL150, as it is quite portable but very powerful. You can attach accessories as well, like a softbox, to get a different look. I use this light actually right now to light the scene, and sometimes I use it for client work. Talking is hard. This has been such a long video that my coffee is cold. Yeah guys, so those are my recommendations. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Hit me up on Instagram, shoot me a DM if you want to talk about gear. Make sure to subscribe, it really helps me out. Hit the like button. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. It really helps me that you watched the entire video all the way through. Happy New Year, happy 2022. Thanks for watching.